Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. Stand up for your country, which they are doing in New Hampshire today. I kind of like this regional voting, brings states into focus that don't get a lot of attention. Nice tradition going on. You should know the Democrats did not hold primary in New Hampshire, as they did in the past, because they want South Carolina to be the first primary so African Americans can dominate the returns on the Democratic side. That is the political strategy, just in case you were wondering. Now, Dick's Notch, the northernmost town up by Canada in New Hampshire, all 6 votes went for Nikki Haley, we can report. Polls closed 7:38. I'm not sure what the corporate media is going to do tonight. Whether they do what they did in Iowa, and that as soon as 7 o'clock rolls around, they're going to go Trump won. Trump's going to win. It's just a matter by how much. If you believe the Boston Globe poll out yesterday, it'll be a landslide, and Nikki Haley will be wiped out. I'm not so sure about that, so I'm going to withhold a prediction other than Trump will win. I will be on News Nation around 8:45 this evening with analysis, in case you want to get my instant take. Talking Points Memo is about President Biden's mental state. So based upon what I went through with my mother, I believe, and I could be desperately wrong, and perhaps I'm irresponsible for saying this, but I believe that President Biden has early stage dementia. All right? We'll have a medical doctor on tomorrow, talk about my opinion. Dementia is not one specific disease. It's not like Alzheimer's disease. Okay, it's an umbrella where elderly people, sometimes not so elderly, decline mentally. All right. So one of the early symptoms is memory loss, but most senior citizens have memory loss. So it's a hard line to walk. In my mother's situation, what I saw was a very slow deterioration from early 80s to early 90s. She died 92, where my mother withdrew from the world. Now, I kept her comfortable in her own home, 24/7 care. She didn't have to do anything, okay? All she had to do was go into the living room and watch television or whatever, listen to the radio, and then go to the kitchen for meals. That's it. And I was happy to do it because my mother was a saint and did so many good things. But it was frustrating because I would go over and have a conversation with my mother, who recognized me, but really couldn't hold a conversation. And she didn't have any interest in doing that either. Most of the time she was asleep. So a person in early stage dementia demonstrates they have difficulty in thinking things through. Like you can't say, well, what do you want to do tomorrow, Mom? No, that's not happening, okay? Sometimes they can't find the right words. They stammer and stutter. They can't remember the word. And they get lost. So if my mother went to church, even though she had gone for 50, 60 years to the same church, she'd get lost. I mean, you have to steer her in, that kind of thing. And finally, and this is where I picked it up with Joe Biden, you lose interest in your surroundings. Joe Biden has no interest in solving the border problem. None. If he did, he would have done it 2.5 years ago. Whenever you ask Joe Biden about the border, he'll say, I need more money, or it's Congress's fault. There's no interest. No interest at all. Okay? He doesn't have any interest in solving Hamas, Israel. Doesn't, he'll read the words that are put in front of him. He can still do that. Not effectively, but he can do it. But he doesn't have any emotion. There's no emotion. The only time that reports say he shows emotion is with his son Hunter and Hunter's troubles. Now, as far as I know, The White House physician, Colonel Kevin O'Connor, okay, is never going to tell the American public that Joe Biden has any kind of mental deficiency at all. He's just not going to do it. All right? And there is no outcry from the media because they would rather have Biden with dementia than Trump. And that's true. Same thing with the Democratic Party, although it's a little bit different because the Democratic Party, if they had somewhere else to go, they'd go there, but they don't at this point. Now, that might change. And finally, Woodrow Wilson had a stroke in 1919. He actually had two, September 25th, and a big one on October 2nd. Incapacitated the President of the United States. Nobody knew. Nobody reported. White House doctor didn't say a word. Okay? So Edith, his wife, First Lady, took over running the government, even signed documents. All right? Now, Woodrow recovered a little bit, and the public finally got to know about his stroke 6 months after they happened. For 6 months, American public didn't know that the President of the United States was incapacitated. Now, that could never happen today. However, if you look at Joe Biden's schedule, there's nothing ever on it. He has no events. So this is rapidly becoming a major problem for this nation, a problem unreported by the mainstream media. And that's a memo. All right, so Mr. Biden is off to Manassas, Virginia for a campaign rally with Kamala and Jill and the first husband, or whatever they call him, first gentleman. Excuse me. It's all about abortion. They're going to yell and scream that women are being denied their rights, that Trump is the devil, and abortion, abortion, abortion. So that's what's happening today. Now, all Biden has to do is get on the plane and off the plane, all right, and then stand or sit there. And I don't even know if he has to make some remarks. Has to. But it's minor. All right, a week from today, he's going to Miami to a private home. Chris Corgi is the Biden Victory Fund director. And if you have $250,000, you can go to Chris's house and see the president. Okay? You can buy lesser tickets, but that's the big one. So I heard a rumor that maybe Morris, this guy, Morris, going to lend Hunter Biden $250,000. So Hunter, no, it's a joke. All right, last formal press conference for Joe Biden was December 12th, all right, with Zelensky. Remember that. Nothing came out of it. A couple of softball questions, and it was just nothing. In 3 years, Barack Obama held, come back to me, please, held 66 press conferences. Okay? 3 years. Trump held 52 press conferences. In 3 years, Joe Biden has held 33, half the number of Barack Obama. And most of those press conferences were very, very short. All right? And as we have reported time and time again, he knows the questions. Biden knows the questions. Now, they deny it. You know, oh, no, we never get a bunch of bull. All right? Because he's reading his answers off cards. You've all seen us do that here on the No Spin News. We show you the video. And he's reading the answers off cards. So has to know the question in advance. Anyway, Biden, they're keeping him away from the press. That will continue. So tonight in New Hampshire, I expect the MAGA people to overwhelm the Trump haters. But in the general election, New Hampshire's not going to vote for Donald Trump. Marist poll says that Biden's leading by 5. It's not MAGA country in New Hampshire. In fact, all of New England, they don't like Donald Trump up there. Okay? There have already been some dirty tricks in New Hampshire. Hear about this? So a robocall was made telling Democrats in the Granite State, okay, not to vote for Trump because that was being urged by some people, unaligned voters. Roll the tape on the robocall.
We know the value of voting Democratic when our votes count. It's important that you save your vote for the November election. We'll need your help in electing Democrats up and down the ticket. Voting this Tuesday only enables the Republicans in their quest to elect Donald Trump again. Your vote makes a difference in November, not this Tuesday.
Okay, it sounded like Biden, right? Wasn't Biden. It was an AI voice distort. So the Attorney General of New Hampshire is looking into this, but we can expect more of this, that's for sure. State of the Union address, usually given around this time historically, but Joe Biden does not do that. So remember in 21, April 28th, my God, that was the State of the Union. Then 22, it was March 1st, and now it's going to be March 7th. It's right before Super Tuesday. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Does it matter? No. State of the Union, you know what the State of the Union is, okay? I mean, you know your circumstance. Debt. You go to bed and wake up thinking about it. Here is the truth. The system traps you in debt. High interest credit cards and loans make it nearly impossible to pay it off. And insane inflation keeps you stuck paycheck to paycheck. Done with Debt is your lifeline. Done with Debt has a new strategy to help you erase debt faster and easier than you thought. It analyzes all the debt options you qualify for. They know how to reduce bills and cut interest rates. Their skilled staff of negotiators know how to get your debt out of your life without bankruptcy and without a loan. Done with Debt are the experts in brilliant strategies for eliminating debt. Here's how easy they make it. Go to donewithdebt.com. That's donewithdebt.com. Let's go to the mail. Concierge member John. Ron DeSantis not only lost this year, but blew his chances for 2028. He does not like to be challenged, questioned, or disagreed with. Nikki Haley is not as accomplished as she thinks she is. She spent 2 years as UN ambassador and quit. I can't think of anything else that she did. Well, she was the governor of South Carolina. So Nikki Haley, I'm going to disagree with you, John, is accomplished. Governor of a state, elected, pretty good job, as far as I could see. Okay? Then she gets the appointment to the UN. Look, I think she did the best she could in an impossible situation, got fed up with it, didn't get along with Trump. Trump kind of ignored her as UN ambassador. But if you say she's not accomplished, I mean, she is. So let's try to be fair to that. Gary, Bill DeSantis lost because once a lawsuit started against Trump, poll numbers shot up and DeSantis dropped. People wanted to support Trump over the fake accusations. Yeah, that's one reason, but it was bad campaign style for the governor, as I said. Now, in this country, with Donald Trump and Obama, and, huge presences, you got to have some charisma out there. And Ron DeSantis is not a good public speaker. Not. And that's what really doomed him. It's hard to listen to his message. It's a good message, I think. Excuse me. Gary. That was Gary. Marion Brady. Eureka, California. I have been to Eureka. Architecture there is great. What a nice little town, Northern California. Just watch Good Morning America. They're making a big deal out of Trump having cognitive issues. I haven't seen this covered. Is it to throw mud on Trump? Of course it is. Trump's lucid. I mean, I know he's lucid, but he's getting up there. So he's going to make mistakes. He's going to confuse things, and that's just the way of the world. But he's lucid. I know. And if he wasn't, I would tell you. George Boyer, Perth, Australia. George is a concierge member. Thank you, mate. G'day, Bill. There's no question that old Joe has been a complete disaster for America and that the Donald was a successful, albeit controversial president. So it's obvious who should be the next guy in the White House. One thing does worry me, however. Trump's isolationist America First vision seems to indicate that he will stop supporting Ukraine. That would be a catastrophe. I'm not sure. I would be surprised if Donald Trump cuts Ukraine adrift. What is more likely to happen is that he will engineer an armistice, a ceasefire between Zelensky and Putin. And Putin would have to get some land, mostly Russian dominated provinces. That's much more likely. Trump's not going to do what Biden did in Afghanistan. He's not going to stand up there and just go, well, bye. No, and that would never happen under Trump. Trump sees himself as a strong man, not letting anybody push America around. But he's not going to perpetually send $75 billion a year of American taxpayer money to Ukraine. So that would be something to watch, that's for sure. But I'm not too worried about that. Okay. Dr. Dennis Wadja, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. What do you think about the JetBlue Spirit Airlines merger? Well, the latest study says that JetBlue is the worst airline in the country. So why would you give the worst airline in the country the power to buy another airline? Is that an upgrade? So the federal government said no. They're not going to give JetBlue the waiver to buy Spirit Airlines. I don't know Spirit Airlines. It's one of these smaller carriers. They have trouble. But I know JetBlue, okay? And I don't have any confidence. Now, they have a new CEO, a woman, JetBlue. So maybe things will get better. I don't know. Howard Solomon, Boynton Beach, Florida. I had not been to a dermatologist in 2.5 years. After your Smart Life segment, O'Reilly, I made an appointment. Let's just say I have more bandages on my face than you do. Okay, so I had here, here, and here. And then I got a big one on my leg. So Howard has got more. 2.5 years is too long. If you're over the age of 50, you got to get into that dermatologist. So what happens is if you don't, then if you do have some cancer intrusion, it metastasizes into a big deal. It could kill you, as my father found out. Go to the dermatologist. It's covered. Medicare covers. Okay. Got lots of good stuff. If you have gift giving given in the next few months, go to BillO'Reilly.com. Team Normal stuff still there. Love that Team Normal stuff. If Governor Huckabee Sanders is chosen vice president, and that's my recommendation for Donald Trump, then the Team Normal will surge back because she is the originator of that, as you'll remember. Word of the day, one of my favorites, I haven't used it in a while. Do not be a popinjay. Popinjay. Excellent word. I'm back with a final thought about how all our lives are changing, and many of us don't even know it, in a moment. If you miss Medicare's annual enrollment period, do not worry. You may still have options. AMAC's Medicare Advisory Service can help you find a solution that fits your needs and your budget. The advisors at AMAC will give you all the information you need in a clear, straightforward way so you can make the best choice. That is something you will never get from AARP. So please call AMAC to choose from dozens of plans offered by a variety of top insurance companies. It's never too late to make the right choice for your health. Contact AMAC's Medicare Advisory Service. Get the help and coverage you deserve. Please call 888-355-5605 or visit amac.us/trust. Okay, final thought of the day, change in America. Now, wherever I go, and I mean everywhere across the board, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Trump going to win? Trump this, Biden that, blah, blah. I don't know. Why don't I know? Because there are going to be things that happen, changes in this country between now and November. Big things, unexpected things are going to happen. And we're living in a time where changes are accelerating. Not exactly sure why. So I did the O'Reilly Factor for more than 20 years on the Fox News channel. The presentation that we came up with in 1996 pretty much held throughout those 2 decades. We tweaked it. We brought in new celebrities, personalities. We sped it up. Okay, we did a number of things, but it was essentially the same. Okay, now it's all changed because the concentration spans of Americans have plummeted because of the cell phones, the smartphones. So they can't sit there any longer, or won't sit there. How do I know this? Books. When Killing Lincoln came out, Phenomenon, there was a huge market. And you had Borders, bookstores, you had Barnes and Noble all over the place, you had Amazon was, there, but there were people going to bookstores. No more. The book buying public has shrunk because of the phones. And people don't want to spend hours reading a book, no matter how fun the book is or how much they learn. Because the phone delivers instant gratification over and over and over and over. And you play the game, you can go wherever you want, you can do this, you can do that. Whereas a book, you got the book, it's 300 pages, you have to sit, you have to read the book. Older Americans will do it. Killing the Witches sold more than 300,000 copies. That's enormous. That's enormous these days. But Killing Lincoln sold 3 million copies, right? Because it was a different time. Change has overwhelmed us. And the last part of this is in your life. I'm a traditional guy. I like to do the same, I'm comfortable in doing what I have done, the things that I like to do. But I know everything's changing. And it's changing fast. And I don't have to accept all the changes. I can walk away, and I have, from stuff that I don't think is worthy. But I'm watching this, and I'm watching particularly my kids. My kids, when they were little, totally different world than it is now. And it's a more difficult world for them now. Not easier. It's harder. So the training that I gave them has to be upgraded to deal with this new set of reality that we have. Joe Biden could never have been elected president 20 years ago. Neither could Donald Trump. Neither man would have been elected president 20 years ago. Biden tried. He got his butt kicked all over the place. Never did he get any traction. He tried and tried and tried. Couldn't do it. Now he's president. Trump, tsunami off The Apprentice, off his fame, off his guile, becomes president. Could never happen in the 80s or even the 90s. Changing country. Some of the change is good. Most of it, dubious. Word of the day. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We'll have the best New Hampshire primary coverage tomorrow, the implications of everything that happens. We will see you then. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation supports America's greatest heroes, U.S. service members, and first responders who gave their lives, those catastrophically injured in the line of duty, and homeless vets. The Foundation's Gold Star Fallen First Responder and Homeless Vet programs honor the sacrifices made by men who fought and died for us, and women who risked their lives for our country as well. The Foundation's Never Forget program engages people in 9/11 remembrances across America with more than 80 runs, walks, and dozens of golf outings every year. The Tunnel to Towers 9/11 Institute educates kids from kindergarten through 12th grade about America's darkest day, while helping our nation keep its vow to never forget. So please support Tunnel to Towers. Donate $11 a month. Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. More than 95 cents of every dollar you donate to Tunnel to Towers goes to its programs. That's T, the number 2, another T.org. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.